So if you were to ask me what is the single most important thing in a music video, I would say it's the cinematography. Because if, for example, you have a really cool story idea or some great effects, but your shots themselves don't look that good, then your music video is just, it's just gonna look bad. Even if you screw up and you don't manage to, for example, let's say get all the shots that you needed, but the shots that you did get end up looking really professional, then your music video is still going to work, because usually in editing, especially in a music video, you can somehow stitch it together, intercut it with the performance shots. Also, another key thing is to always make sure that you make the artist or the singer, the band, look good. Why? Well, two reasons actually. First, because the artist is usually the one paying you or hiring you to do the music video, so they better like how they look in it. And also because, sort of like I said before, the music video is there to promote the artist and the song. So if you're not gonna make them look good, then you're not really gonna help promote them. Now, when I say make them look good, I don't literally mean like make them beautiful. I just mean make them look what they, I guess, what their fans would expect them to look like. So for example, if you're doing a music video for, let's say, a death metal band, then in that case you might actually want to make them look very scary, maybe very dark, sinister, maybe there's blood on there, that kind of stuff. But if you're doing, let's say, a hip-hop video, and maybe the artist wants to come across looking very like he's very rich and all blinked out, then that's where all those props and maybe a hot looking model standing right next to him really come in handy. That's why, in a way, the first step in having good cinematography in your music videos, or in your films for that matter, is having those pre-production steps sort of taken care of. Things like finding a good an interesting looking location, getting the right props, the costumes, and even the actors, the on-screen talent. And if you take care of those things, then it's gonna make your life a lot easier when you're trying to make the shots look nice. Because if you point the camera at something that's just not interesting looking, then doesn't matter what you do with the camera or the angle or the lighting. At the end of the day, you're not going to change the fact that the subject is just not interesting. But you're going to be in a much better situation when you start off with a really interesting subject, and then you just embellish it by adding nice lighting, interesting camera angle, and framing. Also, another thing you should do is to adjust your camera's presets so that you're shooting with the flattest possible settings in your camera. This way you'll usually end up capturing a lot more information than your typical settings in a camera would allow you. If you're shooting on a RED camera or another camera that shoots in a RAW format, then you don't really have to worry about that. But if you're shooting on on most other cameras, or especially on digital SLRs, which tend to compress the image into an 8-bit movie file, then you really want to be able to get as much information right there. So again, you want to change those presets. And now I'm going to show you what I do when I shoot my Canon 7D, and those are the exact same things that you can do on a Canon T3i or 5D or 60D, any Canon digital SLR camera. Now, if you happen to have another camera, then you'll just have to read your camera's manual, because I can't possibly explain the settings for all the cameras out there. It's just too many options. But again, it's usually you'll be able to find the information for that kind of stuff somewhere on a online, and some filmmaking blogs and that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna get a shot here of these Angry Bird toys. This is how it looks when we go to standard and we record it. This is how it looks. As you can see, it's very saturated, very contrasty, and you can see all the pixels, sharp pixels. Now we'll again click here our presets. Using the wheel here on the top, we'll navigate to, you can see you have different settings. You have standard, portrait, landscape, neutral, faithful, and then monochrome. And then here the last three are your user defined settings. So these ones you can customize. So I'll go to, let's say, user defined 2, doesn't matter, you can use any of the slots there. And then using this wheel here, I'll go down. I'll choose my base setting, because you can choose any one of the ones that come with the camera. I'll choose it to faithful. It's just very flat looking. I'll go down again, and again make sure that the first setting here, which is sharpness, you put it all the way to the left or to 0. Then using this wheel again, we go down, and using this wheel we'll again adjust the settings for contrast. So now We want to move the contrast almost all the way to the left or to negative. And go there. We'll just leave it one notch over. One notch before, basically this is all the way to the left, and then it's one notch over. Then we go to next setting, which is saturation. We'll put it 2 notches to the left, and the color tone we'll just leave the same. And that's our user-defined setting. And now if we record it using this setting, this is how it looks. And as you can see, it's a lot more sort of just softer and sort of just neutral looking when you compare it to the standard preset that comes with the camera. And what this will allow us is just basically give us more latitude and also more control in post-production. So we're, when we're adjusting the colors and things like that, it's just going to look nicer, smoother.
Okay, so here's a shot that I got of Dahlia folding the laundry, and it's shot on the Canon 7D with this very soft lighting from both sides, and it's using my custom, flat preset. Now at the same time, I had another Canon 7D rolling, which was operated by my camera assistant, and he by mistake used the standard, preset that comes with the camera, and that's how the shot looks here. And as you can see, the difference between this, his angle, basically his shot, and then my shot here, is that my shot is just a lot more flat and kind of more pleasing. The skin tones are kind of more natural, whereas his shot has too much contrast in it right away. So you can see parts of her face there, and a bit of her shoulder there, and her upper arm has these really hot spots. And for example, when you look at the bed sheets that she's holding, they're completely just blown out, just pure white in certain spots. Whereas in my angle, you can see actual detail there in the bed sheets. So again, if you can, take the time to adjust your camera settings, because it is going to make a difference later on in post-production when you're trying to do color correction and things like that. You're just going to have more options to play with, when you have a shot like this versus a shot, that's so already right away so contrasty in camera. You pretty much, like, you can color correct it, but you're limited with what you can do, because there's a lot of information that's already lost in the image.